Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Let me be very clear. The policy of strategic patience has ended. We're exploring a new range of diplomatic, security, and economic measures. All options are on the table.
There you go, Kim Jong-un. There is a new sheriff in town. That was Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, letting the dictator know that he is dealing with a different Washington. They are taking a complete overhaul on the policy of dealing with North Korea. This is in the face of continued threats from North Korea threatening their neighbors. So now we have the Secretary of State saying, look, all options are on the table, and you're not dealing with the Obama administration anymore. That strategic patience of the Obama era is over. So this definitely has signaled the strongest signal yet that it's going to be taking a much tougher stance than the Obama administration. And this was at a joint news conference. He urged China also to cease its economic retaliation against South Korea over its plan to host a U.S. missile shield here, calling it unnecessary, inappropriate, and troubling. So, of course, we're trying to deal with China as if they're kind of one of our allies there. But whenever it comes time to get to the negotiating table, they basically just come back and say, this is what North Korea wants, so do it. They're kind of playing both sides here in this game. Now, obviously, they don't want to ramp it up and take military action. He was very clear there in saying that he wants to maintain the peace in this area. But he does say preemptive military action against North Korea is possible if they elevate the threat of their weapons program to a level that we believe requires action. Again, he says all options are on the table. And as if to underline Tillerson's remarks, President Trump actually tweeted out that North Korea is behaving very badly. China has done little to help. And he also kind of referred back to how the Obama administration was hoping that sanctions would cripple North Korea to the point where it would renew denuclearization negotiations. Tillerson also said, let me be very clear, the policy of strategic patience has ended, because as we see these sanctions, they might have crippled North Korea, but guess what? They didn't realize the amount of psycho dictator they were dealing with, because with these crippling sanctions, Kim Jong-un basically goes out to his people and says, look, we've got crippling sanctions put against us. You guys are going to have to deal with a season of eating grass. He actually told his people that they were going to have to be eating blades of grass. They should be thankful for the grass. And that's what it is. So, I mean, that's the type of dictator that we're dealing with here. Now, Tillerson also went with his first public engagement in Japan. They are school children there actually holding their first missile drill test in fears that North Korea could launch a missile there at the island. But he said, the United States provided $1.35 billion in assistance to North Korea as an encouragement to take a different pathway. They got no results there, that they could not moderate the communist Kim regime. And he then directed the government of China, which is North Korea's closest and most formidable ally, to pressure North Korea into adhering to these international legal standards and looking to China to fulfill its obligations, fully implement the sanctions called for, because North Korea knows they can kind of go to China and say, look, give us a little help here, guys. So China says, on one hand, they're going to help the United States, work with Russia and everything to kind of get the North Korea in check, and then they go behind and then help them out. So these crippling sanctions really do nothing. Pretty interesting there. And as I mentioned, we're seeing now school children there in Japan practicing for a potential missile launch to hit, because this is following about a week after North Korea launched 4 ballistic missiles into the sea off Japan's northwest coast. One rocket actually landed about 100 or so miles from very close there. So they're playing out these drill scenarios. But let's go ahead and have a little flashback here. Where did North Korea actually get this nuclear technology? Well, you can, as they're developing this nuclear weapons program, credit should be given to the man who helped make that program possible. Here is Bill Clinton, former President Bill Clinton, explaining how his fake deal with North Korea let it go nuclear in order to keep America safe.
Before I take your questions, I'd like to say just a word about the framework with North Korea that Ambassador Gallucci signed this morning. This is a good deal for the United States. North Korea will freeze and then dismantle its nuclear program. South Korea and our other allies will be better protected. The entire world will be safer as we slow the spread of nuclear weapons. South Korea, with support from Japan and other nations, will bear most of the cost of providing North Korea with fuel to make up for the nuclear energy it is losing.
Okay, I've heard enough. I've heard enough. So, you know, this is very familiar to me because as we know, Bill Clinton set him up and he said, we're going to keep him in check. We're going to help him out, but they're going to be good. They're going to let us in, let us inspect. And then what do? They just shut down their doors and let no one in and become the hermit kingdom. Well, it sounds very familiar because it's the exact same thing Obama told us when he sold us this very good deal with Iran. Take a listen.
Today, after many months of tough, principled diplomacy, we have achieved the framework for that deal. And it is a good deal.
Oh, is it a good deal?
A deal that meets our core objectives.
Gonna keep us safe,
This framework would cut off every pathway that Iran could take to develop a nuclear weapon.
Oh, sounds familiar.
Iran will face strict limitations on its program, and Iran has also agreed to the most robust and intrusive inspections and transparency regime ever negotiated for any nuclear program in history.
Exactly. So this was the exact same story that was sold to us by former President Bill Clinton. Now here we have Obama kicking the can down the road. So what we're witnessing now with what's going on in North Korea, you can bet in about 10 years' time, we're going to be having the same type of conversation over Iran. This is a country who trains its children to chant death to America. Their theme parks are little war zones where the little boys get to play soldier and chop off the heads of the infidel, which are the American people and American soldiers. So this is ridiculous. Thank you, former President Barack Obama. You have kicked the can down the road on this very good deal. So this is absolutely ridiculous. We're going to probably be seeing more of this in the future. Now we're going to go to Owen Schroyer because he's got the latest on the threats facing President Trump and his family.
So an interesting development today here. A laptop holding Trump Tower floor plans, Hillary Clinton email investigation information was stolen from a Secret Service agent. Now, authorities have been frantically searching for the laptop since it was stolen on Thursday morning, and they're trying to determine if the thief knew what he was taking, the obviously important information that was on that laptop. Now, they say they don't know, but most of the evidence would point to yes, whoever this thief was knew exactly what they were doing, but they're not willing to commit to that yet. The thief stepped out of a dark-colored car, possibly an Uber car, they're not sure, stole the laptop from the agent's vehicle. They went into the vehicle, grabbed the laptop, which was actually in a Secret Service case, and there was some other stuff in there. They found the abandoned case with the other belongings in it, but the laptop was still gone. They say that this laptop obviously has encrypted security, so it might be hard to get into. However, they do not know where it is. They do not know who has it. They don't know why it was taken, but it has Trump floor plans. It does have Hillary Clinton's information on her email investigation, and they have said that this could be potentially a risk to Trump's security, especially when he's at Trump Tower.
That's really a very interesting thing, Owen, because a lot of people were very concerned about the first family saying, you know, why are they going to be staying in Trump Tower where that's obviously much more safe for them to be at the White House. And here we see this threat. As we know, the NSA and others have the potential to break through with this encryption, and they stole the ability to break through the encryption from the Russian states and others. So very interesting there that they're going to also interesting that they mentioned that it's got Hillary Clinton investigation details as well on that laptop.
Well, actually, you know, it's funny that you said that. I didn't think about this. Maybe they stole the laptop to try to scare Donald Trump into staying in D.C.
Right.
That's something because, of course, you have some people rumoring that there's a Russian stronghold nearby, that maybe it was a Russian that stole it. So we've got all the rumors, but nonetheless, they are looking into whoever stole this laptop and what the motives might be.
Well, thank you very much, Owen Schroyer. So we will stay abreast of that situation. Now, coming up, David Knight has an incredible interview with someone revealing how easy it can be for your home to be stolen. That's right. We have illegal squatters in people's home actually switching the utility bills. And then when the homeowner comes home to try to get back in their house, they're unable to do that because the police say, well, it looks like their name is on the utility bills. You're going to have to prove that you own this home. Absolutely enraging story that you're going to hear coming up. And then we also have an interview with Kaya Jones. Now, she's a good friend with Joy Villa, who you might have remembered as the infamous Trump dress there at the Grammys. She was there with her friend Joy, and she is speaking out, saying how important it is for entertainers, other people in Hollywood to step out of the closet and let people know that it's okay to have a conservative viewpoint, to say that you love Jesus, or that, you know, that you're not afraid to say, I voted for Trump, even though I might be a minority in this country, not allow yourself to be politically bullied. She has an incredible story coming up. Owen Schroyer and myself spoke with her earlier today, but actually thanking Joy Villa for the ability to wear her Trump shirt loud and proud for the very first time without feeling like she is going to be physically attacked for her First Amendment. Stick around, all that and so much more coming right up.
This is one of the biggest secrets out there. The missing link of why our ancestors, whether you were in Africa or ancient Albion, which is England today, why our ancestors were so much stronger. I mean, there are huge archaeological reports, all sorts of anthropology studies, you can look them up for yourself, that show that humans, just an average farmer of 10,000 years ago in England, was stronger than Olympic athletes today. In the final equation, everyone knows our modern society has lost its vitality. The sperm counts are down like 90%. People are falling apart. They're totally depressed. They're unhappy. What is going on? Every ancient culture was obsessed with what I'm about to reveal to you. Today we call it bone broth, and for thousands of years our ancestors enjoyed its benefits before it became lost to our modern diets of processed junk. That's why I'm so excited to announce the product that is undoubtedly the jewel in the crown of Infowars Life products. Caveman. We lost our vitality because we just ignored the ancient traditions. Everyone knew that you used all the parts of the animal. You used the skin to cover yourself or for shelter. You used the meat for sustenance, the fat for cooking, but you used the bones for strength. We are now introducing Caveman by InfoWarsLife.com, the ultimate in true paleo nutrition with bone broth, turmeric root, chaga mushroom, and 7 total primal superfoods in a single great tasting formula. The bone is so amazing. From the outside structure full of minerals and key cofactors to the marrow that produces the blood for the body. This is the engine of the life essence. I've made a lot of important points here, but this is the one you need to research for yourself because it's so key. High-quality bone broth helps support healthy muscles and connective tissue, while the active compounds in turmeric do battle on the cellular level and help fight free radicals. And collagen is essential to aid healthy tendons, ligaments, and muscle tissue. This is an absolute win-win. You get an amazing product produced right here in America. You support Infowars and all we're doing to promote freedom and the restoration of our republic and promotion of freedom worldwide. The journey towards better health and giving our bodies these amazing compounds that God created starts at InfoWarsLife.com. 3 years in the making, incredible research, and the very best ingredients. I'm Alex Jones, and I may not be a caveman, but compared to these trendies out there in the street, I'm as close as it gets. Join me at InfoWarsLife.com and get your caveman formula today.